So I was browsing the internet the other day, and my TikTok editor brought something to my attention. There exists a fashion company out there that makes monkey fist keychains for a whopping 420 smackaroos. By the way, do you guys ever get deja vu? Because this feels familiar. And it feels familiar because not too long ago, I did a video about this very same brand. Let's call them Nunu. They were making a keychain just like this for $400. So I'm not surprised that they also make an overpriced monkey's fist. And me being the Paracord monkey's fist guy, I couldn't not say something about this. Because the more I think about it, the more I question why this quote-unquote high-end keychain even exists. And the reason is perhaps a lot more insidious than you might realize. So this high-end fashion brand refers to their monkey's fist keychain as a nylon trick, which is really ironic as you'll soon see, and it's made with nylon rope that is very similar to the rope that is the focus of this channel, Paracord or parachute cord, a multi-purpose nylon or polyester rope that was once used by the military that we civilians now have access to. Oh, and by the way, you can get the best quality paracord and paracord kits at paracordweavers.com. So as I show you how to make this, I'd like to explain to you why something like this exists, because it may not be so apparent. So right off the bat, I think a lot of people would assume that the kind of person that would spend $400 on a keychain is probably some out-of-touch rich jerk that associates a high price tag with something high quality. While that may be true, I think there are layers to it. You'd think that these high-end fashion brands cater to the rich, but the surprising thing is that the largest group of people that actually purchase these kinds of goods are actually the middle class. Yes, there exist people out there that will buy bags worth several thousands of dollars even though they can barely afford them. And I'm not saying all are like that, but I don't think I'm going out on a limb thinking that there are people out there carrying around a bag that's worth more than what they have in their bank account. Now, I totally understand this mentality because for some people, they are in a position where they will never have the chance to be quote-unquote rich, or they don't believe that they will ever get there. So buying something like this gives them the feeling or illusion that they are. Now, this is not the only tactic they've used to get people into buying their overpriced goods. Another reason as to why this keychain exists is because it's what's called an aspirational product. These little trinkets, while expensive, are not nearly as expensive as, say, a whole handbag, so they're a bit of a gateway drug in that regard. So buyers can experience a taste of the high fashion life while not completely dropping several thousands of dollars on a handbag. And speaking of costs, a tiny keychain like this has insane profit margins, as you'll see the cost breakdown at the end of this video. But making a nylon rope keychain uses very little low-cost material, and it requires even less skilled labor than what it takes to make a bag. So items like this have about a 99% profit margin and a 10,000% markup, which is absolutely insane when you think about it. But this isn't even the most disturbing part, and rather it's this. While this particular brand Miu Miu does label their goods as imported, basic web search shows that their goods are made in Vietnam, Turkey, Romania, and India. While this brand is being somewhat transparent with where their stuff is being made, majority of these fashion companies claim that their goods are all handmade in Italy or other parts of Europe. And it has just recently come out and been exposed that luxury brands like Louis Vuitton or Prada are all having their bags made in China. How it works is that the goods are made and assembled in China to about 99%, and then they're shipped to Italy where a logo is finally affixed and the packaging is complete. And by doing this, they can somehow label their goods as made in Italy. And you know what? None of this is surprising at all. Perhaps I'd be more shocked if I was one of those people that actually bought these sorts of goods, but I'm not. So in my opinion, what it really comes down to is that these companies are selling you an idea that if you buy their products, you too can signal taste, wealth, and alignment with high fashion culture. And if this is your thing, I have nothing against that. It's your money and you do with it what you want. But ultimately, I personally feel that these companies are just selling you lies, especially now that the truth has come out about how these products are really made. I'm not saying that high quality goods can't be made in China, but if you're paying such an exorbitant amount of money for a bag, you'd think they could at least be honest. I also want to make something clear. I have nothing against spending a large amount of money on something you really like. I myself have bought expensive things in my own life because it's something I'm really into hobby-wise, and I felt that the value is there. In fact, with any hobby you're into, the deeper you go, the more money you can spend. However, when I see that a $420 Monkey's Fist keychain is considered entry level for getting into something, I think there's something wrong with that, at least in my books. For myself, I have a Chris Reeve Sabenza. It's a very expensive pocket knife because I'm a knife enthusiast and I appreciate its quality, look, and feel. I don't take purchases like this lightly, and I consider myself very fortunate to be even able to buy something like this. But for me, this is a once or perhaps twice in a lifetime purchase. I actually bought this as a milestone gift to myself when I hit 900,000 subscribers on YouTube. Also, I even sold a bunch of stuff to put money towards it to justify it. While I do enjoy treating myself to stuff like this once in a while, at this point in my life, I've come to realize that it's just stuff. And the things you own end up owning you. Your stuff will never tell you it loves you. If I were to one day lose all my stuff, sure, I'd be a little bummed, but it could all be replaced. And ultimately, the true feeling of riches comes from the relationships I have with the people around me. If I'm healthy, I have food to eat, a place to live, and clothing on my back, I will always feel rich. Now, as for the Monkey's Fist breakdown, here it is. It actually came up to less than $4, and it would probably have been even cheaper had I used a wooden ball for the core, but this is what I had. And of course, we can tack on a few bucks for taxes and shipping, and we'll just round it up to $4. Ultimately, I think people, of course, should spend their hard-earned money how they want, and the value is in the eye of the beholder. But I do believe that companies should be honest to their consumers. And the fact that a $420 rope keychain exists is very much a reflection of the industry that it exists within. Overpriced, undervalued, and it's just selling you an idea that may or may not be true. And lastly, I don't think you should ever let someone else tell you what you need to have to feel rich.